I do the board games.
Hello.
Hello there.
Nice to see you again.
Likewise. Cheers.
Mm.
Damn fine cup of soda.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Shakakapow Christmas. Yeah, so Jahn, you're back,
I am.
and if you're here, usually that means one of two things.
Yes, it does.
It's either Halloween or it's Christmas.
And in this house, that is a very thin line.
That is true. I mean, you have the bat.
Yep.
I think the only thing giving away that it's Christmas is maybe our beanies and our awesome Christmas sweaters.
There are those. I mean, there's also a few.
Some
things,
Christmas
I
items,
suppose.
I guess. Also, during the Halloween videos, the lights are off on the Christmas tree.
Right. Which is still present for the
It's
Halloween
still in the videos, but the lights are off. Okay, so I've been drinking coffee all evening, so I'm not probably going to get any sleep.
No.
So we might as well just play board games.
Yeah, why not?
What are we playing today, Jan?
Today, we are playing Final Girl.
Final Girl.
Final Girl.
Well, and we're not just playing any Final Girl.
We're not.
We're playing another Christmas board game.
We are playing the Krampus movie.
Movie, yeah. Okay. I think we need to explain to
Yes.
people what Final Girl is.
So let's take a step back and start with the beginning.
Okay.
So first of all, the way this game works, if you want to play the game, you need to get the core box.
That's this one right here.
Yeah. And then you need to get one of what they call movie packs.
All right.
And that's going to be a villain and a setting.
So these movies or these, like the sets with stories, they're like, this whole concept is very inspired from like 80s slasher movies, right?
Yeah, very much so. But there is a set of core mechanics that you always have in these games, or in the game of Final Girl, regardless of which set you're playing, or combination of sets. But we'll get back.
We'll get back to that.
So
this is why I really like this game. The concept is just amazing. I love horror,
right?
And to
Could have fooled me.
yeah, right. So this is just so cool because, like, yeah, the one we played today was Krampus, but you also could like play your own version of Friday the 13th or Alien or one of my favorites, The Thing.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. So this game, it really has a strong appeal to, I think, any horror fan.
Yeah, especially if you're a fan of horror, like slasher movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving on.
Moving on, yeah. So the basic rules of the game consists of you having a hand of cards and then using those cards to perform actions. And those actions can be things like attacking the villain, healing,
walking around,
moving.
Yeah.
And every time you play a card, you also have to roll dice to see whether your action succeeds and how well your action succeeds.
Or fails.
Or fails.
And everything is kind of working on time, or like you have your standard resources time.
Yeah.
And if you do well, you might get more time. If you mess up the rolls, you either get 2 successes, 1 success, or normally 1 or 2 versions of a fail.
Yeah.
And if you have a partial success, you might be able to do some things, but you still lose more time maybe than if you had 2 successes.
Exactly, yeah.
So that brings in the aspect of luck.
Yes. Which was not with us.
No, not today. We really messed up.
But it's also a very interesting mechanic, because when you lose time, then you can do fewer actions, but you also use time to purchase cards for the next turn.
And so that makes it even more tricky, because I feel if you kind of mess up something in this game, you get punished for it. If you make bad decisions or bad rolls, the game will punish you by either changing, like you have this horror track, and if you have the horror under control and have as little horror as possible, you can get more dice in this game. You can have 3 dice.
Yeah.
But if you mess up, and things that you mess up will make the villain stronger, and the villain turning stronger with either his terror cards or him killing off civilians. I'm jumping a little bit fast here, but as soon as the terror is down on the last one here, you only roll 1 die.
Yep.
And then
that's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
That's really bad.
So yeah, everything is affected by that horror track, by your time, and by the cards, and by your rolls.
And you never have time to do everything that you want to. If you get really, really lucky, you might have moments where you have things more or less under control.
Yeah.
But the tarot cards that you draw every turn will have some sort of impact on the game. The killer is going to move around and do his thing, which is usually to move around and kill people.
Yeah, because we have, in every version of this, there are like civilians or like survivors.
NPCs,
and NPCs. They might be named characters. So, yeah, in this one, the elves are running around, messing up everything for us. Oh,
yeah. The worst NPCs.
Yes.
They're horrible.
So, since this is on the North Pole, these elves are very chatty, and they stop you to talk to you and stuff. So we lose time if we enter space with the elves.
Yeah, but we want to enter spaces with the elves because we want to rescue them.
Yeah. So why do we want to rescue these civilians? And why can't we just let the killer finish them off?
Well, we could. But the more of the civilians we rescue, the more bonuses we will get from our final girl. In this case, we played as Cindy, and whenever she rescues someone, she gets to move a space.
Yeah.
If you rescue enough civilians, you're gonna
flip
the card over, and you're gonna level up, and you're gonna get some sort of ability for the rest of the game.
So that's really important. But it's not easy to save the civilians.
No, particularly
in this one. Yeah. So you level up your character if you manage to sort of save enough victims. But what happens when the killer kills off victims?
Yeah, the more victims the killer kills, the stronger the killer gets.
Yep.
And we were terribly unlucky because there's like we said, a lot of random stuff can happen. We had a killer steal one of the weapons and attack us with it.
Yeah, you have items you can go and try to find and use to fight off the killer, but with our bad luck, the killer, the card said that he got hold of a weapon and he used it to
bludgeon us to death.
Yes. Also, we had drew another bad card that made all the elves move towards the killer because he was dressed up as Santa.
Yep. So
that's awesome.
But it's also interesting how different the game can be depending on which movie you're playing.
Because that's the really cool thing about this. I mean, you have the core mechanics. You always have the civilians. You always have the killer, and every pack comes with 2 heroes.
Yeah.
So you can choose one of the 2. But I mean, I've played a couple of these now, and I feel they are very different from one another. Though it's the same game, There are some specific rules
Yeah.
connected to the specific location or the specific killer you choose. And you mentioned earlier you can maybe combine some of these
Yeah.
aspects and the different ones.
Exactly. Since every pack comes with a location and a killer
And two
heroes, you can move them around however you want. So you could have Santa's village with Jason from Friday the 13th, or this game's equivalent.
Yes.
And you could have
Freddy Krueger showing up at this the thing.
The thing station.
Is that in Antarctic? No,
I don't remember, to be honest. I do believe it's the Antarctic, but I don't remember.
Yeah. But you can mix these things up, so you could actually almost play your own version of Jason in space.
Yeah, you can. You can be on the space station as your setting, Jason as your killer, and Mrs. Santa Claus as your
hero. Yeah. Also, another really cool thing is that there is this kind of closed envelope with a card inside that for every character. And you're not allowed to open that envelope until you've succeeded to win the game with that character.
Yeah.
So you have like achievements.
Yes.
And once you manage to do that, you open it up and there's an item for your character. So you normally get a better, improved weapon.
Yep.
That kind of reminds me of the old Resident Evil games and stuff, where you kind of, once you beat the game, you get access to more cool...
Yeah, it's a New Game Plus.
New Game Plus with better weapons.
Yeah.
So there are all these really cool things.
Mm.
I haven't tried combining the games, because there's just been so much,
stuff.
Replay value.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Stuff
yeah.
just in the same, stories or movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually, I will probably try to combine some of the movies together. Yeah, you can make your own movie. That's really cool. Anything else you want to mention about Final Girl?
I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah. And I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Like, another cool thing is, of course, if you're into horror or slashers, then this is definitely the game for you. But also, if there's some... Like, where do you start? You buy a core game and one of the movies.
Yeah.
But it's kind of... And I've been thinking, like, is there any specific one you should start with? No. Some of them are easier because, the earliest releases probably were a little bit easier to...
Yeah, maybe a bit less complex.
Less complex or just easier to win.
Mm.
But that doesn't really matter. I would say just find the adventure or movie that appeals to you, and whatever movie you are into, I would go for that. So I think my favorite is still The Thing, Station 2891. And when we were talking about how different these boxes can be, here you don't have necessarily one killer.
Yeah, you can have up to 3.
Up to 3, because it's potentially different characters, or like the NPCs, can be multiple of them that are infected.
Yeah, and you don't start with a killer on the board even.
No.
Because you don't know who the thing is.
Just like the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is a great game. You would recommend Final Girl?
Yeah, not for everyone.
Not for everyone. Also, there's a very important thing we forgot.
Oh, no.
In theory, this is just a solo game.
Yes.
I've never played it solo. You have.
I have, yeah.
But for me, this is also a fun game that works as a 2-player game. We've played it 4-player as well. We all cooperate to try to win the game.
Yeah.
Because you either win or you lose. So
yep.
It's a solo game, but that doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, have you played Final Girl? If you haven't, I would absolutely recommend you checking it out. And especially now around Christmas, go buy the core set and buy the Santa's Village Krampus expansion and have a fun time.
Yeah.
In the holidays. Yeah. Hopefully you'll do better than we did. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And we wish you a Shakakapow Christmas.
Yeah. Keep playing, guys.
See you next time.